Hi guys, welcome back to another Matchbox Garage video. I'm Rob and this is part 2 of the Mercury Cougar build. Please do check out part 1 first if you haven't watched it already. So we are going with the caustic soda shortly. First though, I will be wearing my face mask here and wearing a chemical glove as well. Of course it's in the what do you call it? The fan that blows straight outside, so we don't want to be breathing in any of the gases from the caustic soda today. Yeah, putting all the bits and pieces here into the glass jar. We don't have the foot long, just the 6 inches. The caustic soda here is what I use. I buy this from eBay in the UK. I'm not sure whether you're able to buy it elsewhere in the world, but yeah, I just pick it up off of eBay. Nothing special, just a generic caustic soda. In goes the boiling water, enough to cover the casting, probably by about an inch. And yeah, a tablespoon of caustic soda. Usually I have the spoon out of frame, but again with the I guess different setup of this video, trying to show a lot more of what goes on, and I guess just those little bits like that I want to add in. But yeah, using my glove and holding it rather gingerly because this is still very hot, even though I am wearing this glove as well. I can certainly feel the heat coming through, but you can see all the reaction there already. Actually, just at that part, I could feel the heat and had to put it down for a moment there. You can see already some of that over paint, that black paint is coming straight off. Bit of a reaction there. It turns out those wheels are plastic. I just thought that they were metal, but they are plastic, and they thankfully survived. But you see the different kind of reaction in the metal on the axle there. Now throughout this video, because otherwise it would be well over an hour long, this part 2, I have sped up some of the processes. I haven't cut them out, I've just sped them up. But yeah, this was probably, that was on a 32 speed if I remember rightly, and as you can see here now, being able to hold it by hand, still a little bit of steam coming out the top, so certainly still a bit of warmth in that water, but for the most part, you know, it's been probably 15 minutes or so. And then, having never seen my kitchen sink before, a rare treat. Here we are, just running the water alongside. And I shall clean out my drains at the same time as cleaning off this casting. Giving the old jar a rinse as well as we go. So just before I run this under the water, you'll have to excuse me. Of course, the lighting in my kitchen is not the greatest or set up, but I think you can see relatively easy enough the paint there just coming off in sheets. and the paint loves to stick to your fingers. Using one of the kitchen sponges, please don't tell the wife. It was actually on that base that I wondered whether it almost looked like rust, and I don't believe these can rust, but it looks like rust, and of course it was something else unknown. Who knows what it really was, but yeah, I wondered or feared that it may not come back, but actually, yeah, the base looks good. There you go, just almost coming off in a single sheet, that door skin there. Couple of little wheel hubs. I just put it in there for, I guess you could say, the fun of it. There was no paint on there. That's the underside there of the roof. I guess you could say there are different types of 100% paint removal. This one, for example, it didn't turn out to be 100%, but has a similar thing, with some others. 100%, it may just need, like this, a little bit of scrubbing at the sink stage, rather than the paint just melting and disintegrating. This one, like I say, just lifted and needed a little bit of help, but otherwise, still full paint removal. So one of the doors here, we do have full paint removal here, and wonderful bit of detail on the inside that we will be kind of detailing or highlighting later on in this video series. It won't be in today's video, but later on. The headlights and grille here. One of the moving front axles and wheel. But yeah, it was at this stage that I realised that they were plastic wheels. But thankfully, no problems, no damage. I still need to find a set of tyres for those. I'm sure I will do. And here's something quite interesting. As you can see, there's 3 grey wheels and 1 red one. And I actually wondered, or it looked like it was almost damaged, but it's not. It's like the red wheel is made up of different, like a mixture of colour. Yeah, interested to learn why perhaps there's 1 red wheel and 3 grey. Eventually I'll be painting those. Clean up as I go. One of the top things I would always recommend if you are going to take this up as a hobby is having those little napkins close by. My little drawer there of the wire wheels. I like this style rather than the flat or the really, the small. This one seems to get kind of do most jobs really. Less aggressive as well. Now, I'm not too sure what or why, but normally with my Dremel, I turn it down 1 from the, I guess, standard setting, but yeah, put it up. I don't know where, perhaps I haven't used it for some time and it's been sat in the holster on charge for a month or so. I don't know, hopefully I've not damaged it or overcooked the battery, something like that. The bonnet here, or the hood for my American friends, is normally where I start. and then kind of skip to the next part, you know, with my usual videos. But what we'll do, we'll show the whole process of the wire wheel actioning, albeit now sped up. I did consider keeping the full and whole footage, but I think I had around an hour and 20 minutes on ultimately what was stripping the paint and polishing. It just goes to show what goes into these restorations or customizations for these videos. What, you know, I probably put maybe 6 or 7 hours into each casting, and then condense it down into a 10 to 15 minute video. I know this video series is perhaps not going to be for everyone, but it is a nice change of pace for me. I think this is now video number 361. So as I polish through this, I guess I could spare a few moments just to see how you guys are doing. I can't believe it's November already. This year has gone so fast. I've not even thought about Christmas yet. Of course, in, what is it, five weeks or so? I need to start thinking about that. Grabbing some Christmas presents.
I'm having trouble understanding right now. Please try a little later.
I don't know what she's on about. Let's pull the plug on Alexa. There you go. Anyway, back to the video. So as you can see, we have polished it, the casting inside and out, as well as the base there. Of course, you got the grille. And the doors. Now, I asked in the previous video what kind of colour we should be painting this, and I'm still not decided, so please do continue your suggestions down in the comments below. But there were a few, I guess, standout options, really, and that was to, you know, continue with the original gold, which I must admit is probably at the bottom of my list. But there was also to paint it in the black that a child, you know, their imagination wanted to have this in black, and that was certainly at the top of my list initially. But there was two other colours that were, I think, very common in the comment section in the previous video, and that was either green or purple. And I like the ideas of those too now. So please do keep your suggestions down below. The second half of this video is ultimately going to be me polishing this casting. So as you can see, I'm using a very fine sandpaper. Although I've polished it up with the wire wheel, that's, I guess you could say, stage one. The fine sandpaper here, or it's kind of like a foam backed emery board. I don't even know what you want to call it, but whatever it is, it's fine kind of grade, and this will take it to the next level. and then I've actually finally pulled out the polishing wheel, and then we will polish this casting. Certainly not to within an inch of its life, but to the next stage. And I think it will be in a nice stage where I could add the colour. And I'm not going to go with a primer and a colour and a clear. I'm going to go with like a kind of clear colour, like a candy, over the polished casting. So when you consider a colour, keep that in mind. So you have the brown compound bar. This is not necessarily in the final position. I've only just pulled this out, but you can see that I've actually screwed this to a piece of kind of countertop. In my kind of I guess you could say my Matchbox Garage area, I went out and bought a 3 meter length countertop, cut down. I think this is around 270. The area that I sit in, and that little leftover is now the base for this polishing wheel. If you remember going back probably some time ago now, certainly this year, but months ago, the last time I used it, or the couple of times I used it, some guys down in the comment section below suggested that I screwed it to a piece of wood that would then fit perfectly inside my paint booth, because fluff and all sorts do come off, and turning on the paint booth is certainly a benefit to try and suck in all of that fluff that comes off. I mean, I still am covered in the fluff myself, but for the most part I think most of it is filter free. But again, as you can see here, I have sped up the process. Otherwise you will be here all day and night, and I'm sure you've got better things to do. I'm all ears for recommendations or advice. How much of this compound should I be using? Am I using too much? Am I using too little? I think at the moment I tend to go with hold it on, and if I can start to just see a hint of the colour, that colour brown, then I think that'll be enough. And then if I feel like the polish has done its job, and then maybe I need a little extra. But maybe I'm using too much. Certainly no pro with the polishing wheel. So any advice, jot it down in the comments below. I'm all ears. The standard speed for the roof section here, you wait. Actually, there's a guy that you may recognise from previous videos. Just about there. Look at those pearly white teeth. So as you can see there, the roof section there, lovely, almost mirror-like. And I've sped up the process again now. But I probably polish this with this brown grade compound, and then after this I'll use the pink compound, which is more of a even finer polish. But this was probably around 15 minutes, and then a 15 minutes with the pink. So throughout this whole casting there's probably now 30 minutes worth of polishing wheel time, and I feel like I've got it to a perfectly acceptable state for me to add on the candy colour, whatever that may be. I'm sure if I continued polishing for another half an hour or 2 hours or 10 hours, whatever it may be, I'm sure you could keep going and going and going and going, and this thing would well, it would shine like a piece of jewellery. Unfortunately for me, I don't have the hours and hours of time available. So slowing it down here, coming towards the end of the brown compound process, and I think you'll agree that's looking pretty good, pretty good. I'm going to switch around the machine here and then go with the pink compound bar, and you can see a much finer mop on the end now. The doors were quite hard to keep a hold of. I must admit, there were a couple of occasions where the doors just flew across the room. Thankfully, no injuries, no breakages, but certainly some extra scratches that needed more work to get out again. The base here, I'm probably maybe a bit of a lost cause, really. I don't want to say I wasted time. I'm not too sure whether this polishing did too much on the base. Of course, it won't be seen when it's on the shelf, but at least me and you, we will know that it's probably the shiniest one on anyone's shelf, even if you can't see it. Yeah, so this, as you can see, it kind of, I'm using two hands, and I'm a strong guy, and I'm using two hands and holding on to this thing for dear life, and still sometimes it just grabs it. So bringing it down again to the standard time, finishing off with the pink here. And then I do go over everything with the microfiber cloth as well before it takes me to this final little section for today and today's video. So I hope you'll agree this appears ready now for the paint, but I do want your input. Please do comment down in the comment section below what colour you want to see this. You got the original gold, which not, hey, I'll paint it gold if everybody wants it gold. You see the little US flag in the background there? That's actually on my ceiling. And I've got a Brazil flag up there as well, but I don't think you could see it there. But yeah, so we've got the gold, we've got the black, we've got the green, we've got the purple, or another colour of your choice. But anyway, I'll keep an eye out, and video will be soon.